mic still okay?
Oh yeah, you good now. Perfect. It's the air.
In 2 minutes at 4 o'clock, correct? All right.
If you did not come here from the same household, please remain spread it out. Do you have a watch party already?
Yep.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need a favor. If you have your iPads, laptops, and cell phones, and you're on Facebook, please go to Facebook. We'd like you to share the forum on your pages. Tell it to me one more time, Mr. Ernest. The name, the page name.
Selma City Local Election Forum.
Selma City Local Election Forum. Selma City Local Election Forum. Please share it so your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' friends' friends can partake in this forum. Once these chairs are filled, we can no longer let anyone in. So it's important that you all help us out so the public can still hear the candidates and so the public can still ask questions. Again, if you are in a seat, please remain in that seat for the rest of the forum. Do not switch seats, please do not. That's so that we don't have to continue to disinfect each time a person switches seats. If you are from the same household, you are welcome to pull your chairs close together. If you did not come from the same household, please remain spread out where the chairs are. We did have them 6 feet apart, front, back, and side to side. On the floor is Renata White, right there in the back. Wave your hand, Renata White. She has question cards. And first up will be Miah Jackson for mayor. So those will be the first questions coming up. If you need a card and you did not get one yet, please go ahead and raise your hand and she'll take care of you.
What's the name of it again?
Selma Election Forum. Selma City Election Forum, I'm sorry. Selma City Election Forum. Again, thank you all for coming. It's showtime. Councilwoman Thomas, Councilwoman Janie Thomas, please come forward. Councilwoman is going to open us up with prayer.
I would like for everyone to repeat the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Thomas. We do appreciate you. And now, we're going to introduce to you all some of the members of the Coalition of Concerned Families. So I bring you greetings As the Vice President, we thank you so much for attending. Good information or bad information, you need to get it and make a decision. Make a decision whether the information was given to you was bad information or if the information was given to you was good information. An informed voter is the best kind of voter that I know. So thank you again for coming. We thank you to all the candidates who have agreed to come and talk to the citizens one more time. Right there in the back of the black table, straight down from me, is our president, Ms. Jasmine Pritchett. Jasmine, raise your hand right there in the back. Thank you, Jasmine. Our secretary is right at the door in the ivory outfit, Ms. Renata White, raise your hand. Okay. Our head tech supporter right here, right straight in front of me, is Demario Benjamin. Demario, raise your hand. If you have any technical problems with your devices today in the audience on the floor, please get Mario's attention and he will come and assist you. Miss Aubrey Dillard, has she arrived yet? Okay, when she comes, we'll probably introduce her again. We want to say thank you to Ms. Aubrey Dillard. She is the venue sponsor. This fabulous building that you see is for rent. It's a rental space. So when you need rental space, make sure you try A's Occasions and Events. Call Ms. Aubrey Dillard. When she comes, we will introduce her again because we are very, very thankful for her. Bringing you this production today, Mr. Eric Nettles and company. Eric is at the back, straight way down from me. Eric, please raise your hand. Eric Nettles and Lit Visions. Those of you who are here with Eric, please raise your hand. I think they're all right here to my right, if I'm not mistaken. Please raise your hand. We do appreciate it. I'm now going to bring our president up, Ms. Jasmine Pritchett. She's going to take care of a little housekeeping matters for you. Again, please, on social media, go ahead to Facebook and share the event so that your friends and your friends' friends can partake of this forum. It is Selma City Election Forum. As Jasmine comes, I want to say thank you to the media that's here so far. We have the Selma Sun. Please raise your hand, sir. Thank you to the Selma Sun. We have Mr. David Blackman, who is doing our YouTube streaming. Thank you so much as well. And of course, all of this is Lit Visions. Ms. Pritchett.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Good afternoon. First of all, we'd like to thank all of you for attending our forum this afternoon. Just a few general housekeeping rules. Remember that this is a professional forum. We will not ask any questions that offer any personal attacks. So please do keep that in mind when you are writing your questions down for the candidates. We want the voters to be informed. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with this forum this afternoon. And our first session will be conducted with the candidate, Councilwoman Miah Jackson. One note-keeping thing we want to make sure that we have informed the public, all of the candidates that are in the runoff on October 6th were extended an invitation. And those candidates that you will see throughout this afternoon are the candidates that did accept our invite. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and give our candidate a chance to join us up at the front, and you all can give her a hand as she comes. We're going to allow her to come onto the mic and introduce herself.
Good afternoon. I'm Miah Jackson, candidate for mayor of City of Selma. Thank you to the Coalition of Concerned Families. Thank you to A's on special occasions. And thank you to all of you all that are here and that are listening and looking on at this live. I'm looking forward to answering your questions, to addressing your concerns, and to becoming your next mayor. Thank you.
As Councilwoman Jackson takes her seat, I'm going to tell you all something that we have already told the candidates. And the first thing we told the candidates is, this is not softball today. Be prepared for the hard questions. We called Councilwoman Jackson, Lydia Chapman, and all of the council member candidates, and we let them know that today is the day of the hardball questions, and they did concur that they were ready to answer those questions. Coming up to, yes, thank you. Let me go ahead and introduce them at the same time so I won't have to come back up. So our two moderators for today is, y'all are used to Jasmine Pritchett, but Miss Jasmine Pritchett will be moderating today. Y'all give her a hand, per the usual. Also today we have Eric Nettles, who is also one of our sponsors. He will also be moderating today, throughout the day. So y'all give him a hand. Ms. Jasmine Pritchett will be moderating for Councilwoman Jackson. Mr. Nettles will be moderating for Lydia Chapman. And then they both will moderate for all four. Well, it's 3 council members now. We did have a council member to pull out at the last minute on today. We did not expect that, but so if you are here from Ward 4, we apologize for that, but we did not have that information until just not long ago. Ms. Lisa James did text us to cancel, so we apologize for that. But so be it. I'm going to make you councilwoman. Interesting. Mrs. Pritchett, if you will go ahead and take your seat down and begin the moderation with Councilwoman Jackson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So as our president did state in the prequel, we will be asking those hard questions, and so we'll get right into it. So, Councilwoman Jackson, around town, we have seen several signs that promote an instance where your husband is the district attorney in Dallas County, and it has been proposed that this mayoral candidacy run may be too much power for one family. Would you address that for us, please?
I sure will, and I thank you for the opportunity to address it. My husband is the district attorney, not only of Dallas County, but of the entire 4th Judicial Circuit. It would not be too much power, and it is not a conflict of interest. It's an agenda and a propaganda by individuals that understand that I can't be bought, that I'm not a special interest candidate, that I'm for all of the people. Prior to, and I go into something personal, marrying my husband several years ago, and we're both in the judicial system, I actually contacted the Alabama Administrative Office of Courts to determine if my role that I currently feel would be impacted because he was the district attorney. We work in the judicial field together, and as mayor, we wouldn't be working together. And they assured me that it wasn't. We've won the drug court director, we won both national and state awards. So it is absolutely not too much power and absolutely not a conflict, but it is definitely propaganda.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Okay, so we have several questions. We'll get started. What have you done to prepare yourself for the ever-evolving complexities of running a municipality?
And so one of the things that I did, and one of the things that I believe that all candidates that choose to run for office and have a desire to serve as our mayor is continuing education. So there are many opportunities available to those that want to serve in municipal government, the University of Alabama, University of West Alabama, Auburn University. There are various schools that offer governmental accounting, governmental administration, human resources, and certifications in certain areas, retail and black belt development, economic development in the municipalities in the black belt. And so I sought out these different opportunities so I can make sure that I'm abreast of the challenges that our municipality currently pose, and that I'm ready day one to ensure that we have the knowledge and the skill set as well as the capacity to advance regarding all the resources that are available and the knowledge.
Thank you. What continuing education and/or training have you received to prepare yourself for the position that you are seeking?
And so once again, I am currently I'm a certified municipal officer. And what that entails is additional education through the League of Municipalities to provide candidates, to provide elected officials with the ever-evolving changes that are currently happening in municipal government, and to keep us abreast of the things that are available, the laws that are being passed, and the impact that it would have on local municipalities. And so I've done those 40 hours to be a certified officer, and I've gone past that. They actually have a advanced certification and an emeritus certification. And so I'm 6 credits away from an advanced certification in that area. In addition to that, I went to the University of Alabama and gained my governmental accounting technician certification. And I'm looking forward to going back to receive my HR and governmental resources officer training, because I think that it's invaluable. Actually, I know it's invaluable for us to have as much education as possible to ensure that we don't find ourselves beset with the same challenges that we meet today.
Thank you. On several occasions, comparisons between you and the current mayor have been made. Why do you think you are being compared to the current mayor?
Let me say, you do come with the hard questions, don't you? So I'm not sure why I'm being compared to Mayor Melton. When I look at it, I think there are more similarities with the previous mayor and current candidate than myself. I see that they're both pastors, that neither had any municipal government experience when coming into office, that they were beset with lawsuits during their administration, that the employee morale was down during their administration, and things of that sort. And so I think it's an unfair comparison. I don't know why we're being compared, but the Bible says foolish is the man that compares himself to man, so I don't know.
Thank you. Once becoming mayor of Selma, what are your plans for the recreational department for the children of the city of Selma?
And so that is an awesome question, because as you know, and all the parents and individual citizens that are sitting here understand that our children are our future. And so we're going to have additional recreation events, opportunities for them to ensure that they're not having an idle mind. Now, when I grew up, my mom would say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so we want to keep their hands filled, we want them to keep their minds occupied, and we want to have those opportunities for them to excel and see where their skill set lies, because they may be the next Bo Jackson, or they may be the next LaQuan Brown. But we want to make sure that we have recreational events that far surpass what we have, not just outdoor events, but there are opportunities in gaming now, in video gaming. And so we want to make sure that we address all the needs of our children and where they may excel. And so I would do that by ensuring that we have the proper funding allocated to ensure that our children are number one priority in our city.
Thank you. What can you do as the mayor to improve the city's trash problems?
Trash problems. And so one of the things that I want to do as mayor is to ensure that we don't have a trash, well, let me ask you this first. Are you speaking trash or garbage or both?
Well, this is a community question, so I only have trash here, so.
Okay. So let me address both the trash and the garbage. I don't believe citizens should be paying for garbage. I believe it's incumbent on our municipality to ensure that they receive these services. I think that we have been derelict in our duties as a government not to provide them, because we're asking for 10 cents in sales tax, we're asking for 4 cents in gas tax, we're asking for our property tax, and we continue asking. And actually, it was offered that we not only charge them a dime, but raise it to 11 cents, and we're not getting anything in return. So I absolutely do not feel that they should be paying for this, which would remedy a lot of the garbage that we see along our streets, because if I don't have the funding to take care of it and it's down there, you find me, I can't take care of that either. But if I take that off the burden, off the renters, off our citizens, and put it back on the city, now if you're not doing what you're supposed to, and trash and garbage is lining the streets, now we have an opportunity to fine you because we've relieved your excuse. And so I don't believe it's an excuse. I believe that it's hardship on our citizens to be able to pay this $20 per month. And I'm going to make you aware that I've contacted other municipalities in Alabama and in Mississippi, and that is a large amount, $20 a month. I spoke with someone that lives in Mississippi, and they say they pay $19 every 3 months. And so if you're already struggling, concerned families, that's what we hear about it today. And if you're already struggling, you may not be able to pay that $20. I'm going to tell you that during the time I struggled, if I had to pay $20 and wasn't living in an apartment, I couldn't pay it.
Thank you. As a proponent for education, would you tell us how you plan to partner the city advantageously with the Selma City school system?
Yes, I can tell you that the Selma City school system has a sound foundation currently. You all we went through the state coming in years ago. But since that time, you all have risen to the occasion as a school system, and you've done what it takes to meet the requirements and the recommendations that the state set for you. And I think you all actually came out of the state takeover prior to the time that they actually
advantageously with the Selma City school system.
Yes, I can tell you that the Selma City school system has a sound foundation currently. You all we went through the state coming in years ago. But since that time, you all have risen to the occasion as a school system, and you've done what it takes to meet the requirements and the recommendations that the state set for you. And I think you all actually came out of the state takeover prior to I can get back to it, I'm sorry. But it left you in a great position. And so you're sound financially, you're sound in your structure. I think you have a great leader in Dr. Avis Williams and a great board, and they're all working together to ensure that you have everything you need. And so to have a great and strong partnership with the city of Selma, that has been something that we've tried to ensure during my tenure on the council, and that I would definitely ensure would continue to happen as your next mayor.
Thank you. As the next mayor, what are your plans in partnering with the Dallas County Commission?
Dallas County Commission, I think Selma and Dallas County are almost inseparable. We're one, though we're two governments. And to ensure a great Dallas County, we have to have a strong and vibrant Selma. And as Selma goes, that is the way that our county goes. We're the largest municipality in the county. And so I want to make sure that I'm working with our probate judge, that I'm working with the commissioners, and that I'm abreast of their challenges, and that we're working together in a partnership. And that's what I currently do in my role. I work with the county, and so I've built strong and great relationships there, and I want to continue to forge those relationships.
Thank you. Okay, this is a Facebook Live question. Will you explain your vote on the City of Selma school funding?
Yes, my vote to discontinue this City of Selma school funding was to ensure that the allocation went back to our children in a different manner. As I've stated on previous occasions, I believe that our recreation department could utilize those fundings. As you know, we don't have a recreation department. All of the employees were laid off, but two. And I want to ensure that we have things available to our children outside of the school, because they're not in school year-round, and they're not in school in the evenings, and they're not in school on the weekends. And so we're going to have to make sure that that idle time is filled. And those recreation events can be through track, football, basketball, gaming, video gaming, and others, as I've stated before. But I want to have a vibrant community. We're going to need a vibrant education and recreational system for our children. And you all are doing extremely well at this time, and Selma is not.
Thank you. What is your stance on the negative interaction between the community and the police? And if elected, would you support or improve the said relationships?
And so, as in all things, there's need for change, all things in Selma. And I think that our public safety system is in need of an overhaul. I think we have great leadership now with Chief Kenta Fulford. I think our officers could use additional training, and that is something that I will look into definitely to ensure that they have the cultural training, the sensitivity training, the mental health training. And I want to not only do that, but there's something that I tried to do as council member. We were in the process of getting the Cure Violence program here when the mayor cut off communications. They were ready to come down and to look at our community and to assess what we could do. We also had a $50,000 International Chief of Police grant that was awarded to the city of Selma that the current administration did not approve and did not allow to come to our program. Those are things that I initiated, and because I believe that policing relationship with the community is vital. There was no time in my youth that I was afraid of the police. And there shouldn't be any time that our children are afraid to interact. The police is here to protect and serve. And somehow we have lost that service. We have lost the protection. And we need to ensure that they understand their role and that the citizens understand that that is their role. And so we need to improve community relationship through various means by ensuring that we have officers in every neighborhood and giving them incentives to live there, not just to ride through, but to live, to interact with our elderly, with our young adults, and not build a relationship of fear or authority, but to build a relationship that they are a partner in our community and they're here to serve and protect us.
Thank you. What about the public safety in the city and the city of Selma community?
May I have a drink of water? 1 second, please.
Yes.
I needed to take a drink of water on that because public safety is such a sensitive subject for me. And it's sensitive because I know the overwhelming responsibility that an officer holds. And I know if abused, what it does to a community. As I was beginning to look after the runoff, as I began to look at the various reports regarding public safety, I had the opportunity to look back at a report from 2001 that's on the FBI website. It details the crimes, violent crimes that happened that year, which is the year that my brother was murdered. And what I realized is that our leadership at that time didn't take the time to report it. Now, I believe for years that my brother became a statistic on May 7, 2001. But the administration did not even feel that he was worthy to be noted as a statistic. And so in 2001, it was reported that we had no violent crimes and no murders. And so it set me back. And so I want to make sure that every child, first of all, I wish it was true. If that was true, if those facts that were reported and submitted were true, then my brother would be here with us today. And I could look out into the audience and be proud to see him standing there. But I don't have it. And so we have to ensure that public safety is there for all of our citizens and that we take the time to address their needs so we can prevent another murder and another failure to report it.
As the mayor, what are your plans for working with the Community Development Department in raising expenditure funds for the city of Selma?
Okay, and so through economic development, I want to work with not only our EDA, not only the Selma Planning and Development and our tourism through the commerce. I want to ensure that we have another resource. And I've been talking about I Am Selma globally, which will allow individuals all over the world to give back to Selma. So we can ensure that we have the resources necessary to address the issues of economic development and allow people to have incentives that want to invest in Selma, but may not feel that it's is vital, or there may not be a return on the investment. I want them to have every opportunity to give back to Selma. And so there may not be just allocations through the city of Selma, because our budget is so tight right now, but I want to ensure that we have resources that are available that we can pour into those different entities and departments within our community to ensure that every need is met, and that we address how we can get additional industry, retail, as well as investor, private business, and small business owners into our community.
Thank you.
Ms. Bridget, if you could hold the next question, if the streaming has gone blank, go ahead and have some water, Councilwoman. When it's back up, they're gonna give me the key, and then I'll give you the key to the trigger.
Okay, I think we're back up now. This question is from Facebook Live. What are your plans for the first 90 days if chosen as mayor?
So my plans for the first 90 days are to ensure that we have the fundamentals in place. I believe that our government has eroded in such a manner that we don't have the basics. And so you can't teach algebra as an educator, you know, without first teaching your ABCs, your numbers. And so we're gonna have to go back to the fundamentals. And so we're gonna have to ensure that we have the basic. We're gonna have to ensure that we have financial policies and procedures in place. We're gonna have to ensure that our public safety departments, both fire and policing, have the updated policies and procedures that are abreast of the evolving changes. We haven't updated those in years, and so we're not abreast of the things, and we're meeting challenges that we don't have rules or policies for currently. We're going to have to ensure that we have HR issues to address and policies in place for that. So the first 90 days is going to be looking at the finances, making sure that our budget is balanced, and making sure that we have set the priorities in place in our budget that we intend to achieve by the end of the year, because we need momentum, we need triumphs, we need to be on one accord. And so the fundamentals are going to be there. And as I've stated before, the Bible says that money answereth all things. So we're going to have to begin with the money, and then we're going to have to set the policies in place. And we're going to, as a government, one body, the council and mayor, work together to determine our vision for the year. But the policies and procedures not being in place will continue to erode our government. The financial instability that is currently in place is going to continue to erode our government. And if we don't address those things that were laid out in the public examiner's office and ensure that our employees know their proper place and what the policies and procedures dictate for them, then we're going to continue to be fraught with lawsuits. And so those are the fundamentals that I want to address. All those other things, garbage and trash, that'll be handled inside of the budget, because all of those things deal with money. And so we're going to look at our budget, and we're going to address those things accordingly.
Thank you. If elected, will you be accessible to all citizens and attend all meetings and work sessions with the City Council?
Absolutely. I understand how important it is to communicate with all of our citizens to address their concerns, as well as to be at the council meetings. You miss so much information when you're not there. And so I will be at every council meeting, and I will talk with every council member. I won't just talk with council members on the day of the council meetings, but I had someone, actually Judge Ballard, said to me years ago, he said that the way he keeps things going at the county is that he continually communicates with his commissioners. He said we almost talk daily. And so to be a year and a half without any communication with the mayor being returned, I've sent communication, but nothing has been returned. It doesn't address anything. And so one thing I've learned from this administration is what not to do.
Thank you. Great ideas that other candidates had. Will you be willing to work with them for the greater good of Selma? With 3 former mayors, what's your plan to gain wisdom from them, even if it means learning what not to do?
Wow. So of course I will. Prior to announcing that I was going to run, and after making this decision, after talking to my family, one of the first things that I did was call the candidate that's currently running and the former Mayor Evans. I called them both and would have called the current mayor, but I could not reach him. And so one of the things that I know is important is to receive insight and wisdom. And they have that. They may not be abreast of what's needed today, but you don't ever disrespect or lack those that have the knowledge that come before you. And so I'm willing to work with anyone. I'm not an expert, I've said it, and I don't claim to be, and I need individuals that understand certain fields and have professional development and professional skills and abilities that I don't possess, like contacting the environmental engineer. I'm not an environmental engineer. So before I make decisions, I make sure I contact them. And I lean heavily on those individuals in the profession. And so I want a team around me. Mayor Evans has already committed to coming in and helping wherever he can and being a phone call away and being there if needed. And so I would love for the other mayors, including the other candidates, to be a part and be a phone call away, because it is for the best interest of Selma. It's not for an individual, but we're talking about what it's going to take to secure Selma's future. And it's going to take each and every one of us working united.
Thank you. If elected mayor, what are your plans for the current Selma City personnel at this time?
And so I get this question a lot. Immediately, I'm going to assess where individuals are. Now, everyone is aware that department heads, generally most are appointed by the mayor, some are appointed by the council. But I'm going to assess immediately where we are and where we're going and where we need to be. And so I'm going to assess. I'm not going to immediately, first of all, let's say this, you can't immediately get rid of every employee. So there's propaganda and misinformation out there, but you can't immediately get rid of every employee. But what you can do is ensure the employee has the best training to do their jobs. And I believe that we have great employees at the city of Selma, because why would someone work with the municipality and make $7, $8 an hour when they can go to the local store and make $10? They choose to stay in with us during our challenges, but we have to make sure that we give them the incentive to be their very best and allow them the latitude to achieve that. And so I don't believe it's been allowed. I believe if we go in and motivate our employees, I want to establish incentives for continuing education, to receive certifications. I want to establish incentives for getting your degree. And so I want to encourage our employees to gain as much knowledge in their career field, not only to move up, but to be the best that Selma can offer and have. And so I'm going to work with each and every one of our employees. And if they're in a department that they're not comfortable or they're not performing well, that's why we need performing measures. I want to give them an opportunity to move to another department. Because if I'm in municipal court and I hate the judicial field, I don't need to be there. But I may absolutely love finances and accounting, and so I may be better at that position. So I want to assess, give them performance measures, and allow them the opportunity to lead their own destiny.
Thank you. So this leads to a Facebook Live question. Will the city employees of Public Works be brought back to work?
As many that are available to come back to work. We need to realign and reorganize. So we are providing the city with services. I don't know why we would get rid of, eliminate, fire essential employees. And Public Works is absolutely essential. Prior to the firing of our Public Works staff, you didn't see the overgrown trees. You didn't see the trash and garbage lining the streets as bad as it is now. You didn't see the right-of-ways, as many of them overgrown. And so I don't feel that, I try to make sure that I'm not bashing anyone, but I think there are other measures that it could have been put in place prior to laying off 68 essential workers.
Thank you. Another question from Facebook Live. Being that you are in your tenure as a councilwoman, what were your actions or what actions were taken to try to move Selma forward?
Oh, yes, that's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. So one of the things that I understand about being a councilwoman is that my role is dual. It's legislative, that we make the laws and policies for the city of Selma, and that we ensure the finances of the city of Selma. And so I addressed the lack of policies and procedures and tried to move forward on those items. It takes a full council, so you're not one person and you can't do one action alone, but it takes a full council, and I continually address the finances of the city. And I'm not shy about saying that many of the things in the public examiner's report were things that I submitted to them. I don't mind saying that it was my responsibility. It is my responsibility to go through the finances of the city, and I didn't take it lightly. I ensured that when we received those 3,000 documents, some duplicates, on November the 1st, 2018, I remember that date because it's my son's birthday, and it actually took me away from his time with him because I saw the documents and immediately began going through them. I brought to the council and said, hey, council members, let's go through these together. Let's pull so many. Mr. President, can you assign so many pages each night that we could go through? And we didn't get a consensus on that. So I took the time and went through all of them myself. It's not the role of a council member to go out and pick up the garbage, but I did. I did every third Saturday for the first 2 years as a part of my Little Free in Ward 3 program, even when I was out there by myself, because people said it's returning. We're going to the same neighborhoods and we're doing the same things, but it is absolutely my responsibility to make sure that the finances of the city are in order. I didn't accuse anyone of anything, but I said it raised my eyebrow, and I brought it to the attention of those in the proper authority that has the authority to address it. And so I'm thankful for having the opportunity to serve in that capacity, and I'm ready to be the next mayor of Selma.
Thank you. From Facebook Live. What initiatives have you proposed as a council person were successful?
So the financial monitoring, wherewith nothing is allowed to be spent unless the council approved, was a measure that was successful. This is something that should have always been in place and was never, again I say never, in place with the city of Selma. And so it wasn't this administration, it was with previous administrations. We allowed individuals to spend our money, citizens' funds, without holding them accountable. Every dollar that is spent in a municipality, depending on the department, depending on budget or not, is supposed to be brought for the council and voted on. And I learned that in my training, and so I brought that back before the council. So the next administration won't have the issue of the mayor or whomever deciding that they want to go out and buy a $6,000 desk for themselves or a $300 laptop equipment. It has to come before the council. And so that is something that it is extremely important, especially with the mismanagement that we know that is in place currently. Additionally, I've led the charge for policies and procedures, and as you know, they've just approved the HR policies and procedures to be written. I've led the charge for the financial policies and procedures, and so those are the things that a council can do. And I've also was successful in leading the charge to ensure that we as citizens don't have an additional 1 cent tax, because it's not necessary. If we operate efficiently and effectively, it is not necessary to tax our citizens to the bare bone. That is just ridiculous. And so I led that charge, and we don't have taxes today.
Thank you. Okay, so this may be the final question.
Enjoying this.
You are currently a city council person, and you have expressed your role as a councilwoman. Would you please give us your insight into what your day-to-day operation would look like if elected?
Okay, that's an awesome question. And so I would make sure that I'm accessible, that my doors are open. I'll make sure that because money drives all things, that I'm meeting with the council members daily, either by phone or email. Some type of communication will be going on, that I'll address the issues, that I'll be looking for resources and grants, opportunities, so that we don't have to bear the burden of what is needed in our community. I will make sure that I'm meeting with our small business owners, that I'm meeting with the EDA and economic teams to ensure that we're addressing those issues, and my door will be open to the employees. And so if an employee needs to talk or cry, I'll be there. And so I don't need a middleman. I don't need a chief of staff. I don't need anyone to go through. Our government is small enough that we can be one-on-one with our citizens and with our employees. And I want them to know that though we're a government, we're still one Selma, we're one family, and we're gonna operate as such.
Thank you. And this will be the final question. What are your plans for tourism and generating new revenues for the city?
Tourism, I'm so glad that you asked about this, and I'll try to answer it really, really quickly. One of the initiatives that I spoke with Azimuth about, and Azimuth was the grant writing company that I actually met at a league function. They presented, and the league official that presented them said, if you have challenges in your community and you don't have enough resources to meet those challenges, you need to meet this young lady. So immediately I jumped up from my chair and I met with her, and she made me aware of some things that we can do. One of the things that I want to do for tourism is capitalize on Selma's history, and not just one part of it. But if you take a look at the totality of Selma and Dallas County, and you talked about working with the commissions, we hold in our county something no other county does. We hold the first capital of the state of Alabama. So I want to tell that story. I want to tell Alabama's story from its inception at Cahaba through 1965, all in Selma. And I want every fourth grade student that takes Alabama history, wait, I may be dating myself because I took it in fourth grade. I'm not sure if that's correct. Okay, it's that. And so every fourth grade student come to Selma. Like we used to go to Moundville and learn different aspects of our state's history. I want to generate that type of revenue, have those type of tourism ideas, and also insinuate and educate those on our civil rights. But I think we're missing a part of our history. I think we should take it all the way back from Cahaba through civil rights, and then have our living museum and interpretive center that we leave out of across the bridge. But we need to learn at the Old Depot about Senator Turner, and we need to learn so many other facets of our history. And I think it's wonderful that we hold the state's capital, first capital. And so I want to tell Alabama's story through the eyes of Selmans.
Thank you. Well, I did say that was the final question. I'm going to squeeze one more in.
Squeeze one more.
Why wasn't a budget ever voted on by the council if you were responsible for physical affairs of the city?
And so we did vote on a budget. You can't operate without a budget. It just wasn't the mayor's budget. It wasn't the budget he proposed. And I don't make any amends about not voting on those budgets. It was fraught. It was layered with taxes, with increases, with fees, and I don't believe that I should give any more money, your money, my money, to someone or an entity that I don't know where the money is going currently. I think that is ineffective, I think that is inappropriate, and I think that it is downright wrong. And as an elected official and a citizen, because I'm a citizen first, I'm not going to give anybody a dime of my money unless I know where it's going, because that's my money. I work hard for it. When I give up my 40 hours from my children, from my daily activities, I want to know where the money is going. And so as a citizen, I wanted to ensure that your money, you knew where your money was going. And so the council did not vote on those budgets, but did vote on a budget. You cannot operate a government without a budget. And so to say that we didn't vote on a budget is completely inaccurate and just misinformation. There were budgets, it was just not the proposed budget, because your council thought enough of you to say, if you're not spending 10 cents right, you won't spend 11 cents right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all, Councilwoman, please stand in place. Give a hand for the Councilwoman. Did we not tell you we were here for the hard questions? No more softball. Councilwoman, we want to thank you for taking time out to talk to the citizens one more time and for agreeing to accept the hard questions. Because if you cannot accept the hard questions, you have no business running the city of Selma. There is no politics like the politics in Selma, Alabama. You can go far and wide. Well, I take that back. We are second to the city of Chicago. So second to Chicago, there are no politics like Selma, Alabama politics. You thought it not robbery to come today to speak to the audience. We thank you. We want you all to please take a sheet of paper from our secretary in the back. Leave her a note, whether it's good, bad, or indifference. She's here to take that, fold it, put on the outside that it's for her, because we're going to do this for every single candidate. Fold it up, and we will make sure she gets every single note or critique, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We will make sure it gets into her hand. As we transition, we do have to disinfect the couch before Lydia Chapman comes. And listen to me, y'all stay in your same seats. You can get up and talk 6 feet apart, but stay in your same seats. We are at capacity and we can no longer accept anyone unless someone leaves the building. Okay, so in the meantime and in between time, as we transition, you will see us walk through the audience with the main device. And what we're doing with the main device is we are doing a post-interview of some of you all in the audience. We want to know how you feel, if you had your mind made up, or if you didn't have your mind made up. Why didn't you have your mind made up? Is it made up now? Is your mind the same? Has your mind changed? We're going to ask those questions in the audience, and that gives us time to transition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Councilwoman, thank you once again.